me to respond, having been accused of pilfering and other things, I'm frankly disinclined. That was an absolute showcase in piecing some facts together and drawing conclusions that are not the case, as I referenced earlier. Suggestions there have been made against the Borough Council and others in the 70s without fully appreciating that the library at the time was operated by the County Council, not ourselves. References have been made to members of the Gilstrap family being on the Gilstrap Trust. They have been invited of late to be on Gilstrap Trust in observer status. References are made to letters and documents on owners' provisions where they can purchase properties. We have repeatedly asked those anonymous people online who keep telling us that, please provide evidence. It has not been forthcoming. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but until it's been seen, it cannot be evidenced as something brought forward. Nor is there any evidence that anybody at any time has put such a covenant on that land with reference to play, persons, recreation, or children. Again, when we have asked and we have sought within the archives at our disposal, nothing is found. If it exists, bring it forward. The inference is the council is selling the land to apply money to the £4 million it wants for the castle. Show me the evidence where that has ever been said. Because I don't pilfer, and I don't mislead, and that is because the land doesn't belong to the district council. The district council is not selling it. The role of the district council will simply be to receive planning applications from anybody who may purchase it or the Gilstrap Trust themselves. Therefore, the instant comeback is on those that wear two hats, because the Gilstrap Trust is comprised of councillors. That was the intent of desire of the original Joseph Gilstrap, not the second, the original. And it is documented that his intent in so doing was that times change and priorities change, and to link it to the local council would better ensure that decisions of the trust have that in mind. Nor is the library being sold off. The trust is in a position, and I am a former trustee, that it has to act in the interests of that trust under charitable law. And that is to fully apply what assets and monies it has to the purposes of that trust. Rightly recognised as the Free Library building, but more widely on interpretation and education of the history of Newark in this area. I'm not speaking on behalf of the trust, but it is sadly the case that Chestnut Avenue's play area does not meet those objectives, nor is it deriving proper income, one suspects, for that trust. But just to be clear, we cannot override the decision of the trust, but we can seek to understand it. And therefore, I'll emphasise again, the District Council does not own that land, and the District Council is not selling that land. That site was put forward in July 2000, in fact, I think it was allocated in July 2013, following consultation as to whether it should be allocated for housing. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not new. It's 6 years old. There were few representations, and I always have an empathy with members of the public on planning consultations. It's not always obvious what it's about. It's not always easy to respond. The Town Council was consulted, and many other members, including myself, were consulted. There weren't objections at that time to it. Civic organisations that have just been referenced were also consulted. No objections at that time. So as it stands, there's no planning commission. That's another thing that is being said about numbers of units and what is being done. There is no planning commission because no application has been received and properly progressed to committee. What I can say is when that land was allocated, the council had the foresight to at least specify a minimum area of land that would be retained for play and recreation. And my understanding is, in some early conversations, that was not reached. So the district is doing what it can within its planning powers. There's no covenants, no restrictions as we can find, and almost all the housing on that estate is, as we've been told, on former Gilstrap farm land. There is precedence to this. There is a good estate down there with good primary schools and actually some pretty well-equipped play areas if people wish to go and visit, better than in my ward, I'll add, that people can use. I'm just sorry the school doesn't open theirs more often. I can confirm for a developer. There's some talk. Can we be clear again? NCHA, Nottingham, there's a clue, Community Housing Association. It's not us, it's not owned by us, we own Newark and Sherwood Homes. So the developer interested in acquiring the land, again, is not attached to the district council, it's not attached to the county council or to the trust, no hats, no pilfering. It is not the district council building on this site. So the reality, and I come to my motion, Mr. Chairman, when or if a planning application is formally lodged, the planning committee will receive it. And it will decide on its merits in line with national and local policy, as we know, in the same way as they must all applications, as, let's be clear, the planning committee is quasi-judicial in law, they are almost a separate authority. They will have that responsibility, and I don't envy them. Thereafter, I can predict no outcome, nor can this body, nor can the Gilstrap Trust, nor can the community. Therefore, I propose, Mr. Chairman, that the petition is referred to the planning committee to be received alongside any application that should be made for this site.
Thank you, Councillor Lloyd.